Guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash of Clans with my very special pro guest. It is Itzu, probably one of the most well-known clashers in the entire world. He's a co-leader in Dark Looters who won the CWL Championship Season 1. This guy is a beast both in base building defensively and also in attacking at every Town Hall level. Itzu, welcome to the channel, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's great to have you, man. I got the honor of meeting you, which was awesome, just a few months ago in Estonia. What did you think of the CWL finals? Was it nervous? Was it nerve-wracking doing all your attacks live in front of millions?
Yeah, I think the most nerve-wracking part was that it was so close just till the end. And the last attack mattered and more or less decided the war, so yeah, I was really nervous.
Yeah. I can't imagine how, casting those events are hard enough. I can't imagine having to do like 6 attacks in that war like you did. So huge hats off for pulling off the victory. And all you, King Tim, and Bronx, the 3 guys who were representing Dark Looters, all amazing guys. I had a really good time meeting you guys. And because we kind of struck up a friendship back over there, I, contacted you because I just really wanted to bring you onto the channel because, again, you're really, if you were to ask people for one person who would be considered a pro in Clash of Clans, I know you're modest, you probably won't admit it, but you're definitely going to be at the very top of that list. So in today's video, what I had in mind here is you had for your 300th win, you and PWC arranged kind of a friendly war matchup here, and it ended up actually in a tie with you guys getting the victory nod there. We've picked out an attack at Town Hall 11, Town Hall 10, and Town Hall 9. And what I want to do is first review the bases that were attacked without seeing the army. And you can tell us a little bit about the base design because I want to talk about the evolution of base design specifically in war at each Town Hall level. And then we'll hop into the attack. And we've chosen 3 different attack types as well. So, you ready to go, Itzu?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay. Well, actually, one first question, a little bit of a background. Obviously, you're from Germany. How long have you been playing Clash of Clans and how many accounts do you have?
I play now for around about 2.5 years Clash of Clans, and I have 3 Town Hall 11 accounts, 1 Town Hall 10, and Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 8, I think, Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 8, I don't play that often, but, it's a lot of fun to play the higher ranked Town Hall levels.
Yeah, man, that is insane. So many accounts. Do you usually war with all of those accounts or no?
Yeah, I have 2 Town Hall 11 accounts in Dark Looters and have a Town Hall 11 in the Dark Looters X as well. So yeah, I play in both.
Nice, man. Nice. It's cool too because you really got a nice variety of you definitely have input, I should say, because we talked a little bit about the Dark Looters process and how you kind of prepare for wars, and you're really a jack of all trades considering you have town halls at every single level. So you're definitely a huge part of the whole Dark Looters team and system. So moving on to the first Town Hall 11 attack here, I'm going to go ahead and scout the base, and this is actually an attack done by you, and this was a really, really cool attack. It was... I'm not going to say it. We'll wait for people to actually see. But before we get into the actual replay, tell us a little bit about this base. And the first thing we're going to talk about is pretty obvious, but just talk about the trends at Town Hall 11 right now in base design. And specifically, let's start out with why people are starting to cluster all their air defenses on one side of the map.
On Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11, most of the bases are just designed with these kind of one-sided air defenses to make the Laloon part as hard as possible, because Laloon is one of the strongest possible attacks at the moment in the game. So you want to try to counter this attack. And with setting up all of the air defenses on one side, it makes the loons on the other side it's really hard to tank with the hounds for the loons. For example, you can see on the one side all of the wizard towers, most of the archer towers and so on are just grouped up. And if you fly through that part of the base, the hounds will be always faster than the loons. And this means the loons will stay behind, stuck on the wizard towers, and will slowly die over there.
Okay. And if they come in from the other direction, it's just a lot of firepower to be heading into.
Yeah, and as well, the sweepers will point just towards you, so it's really hard to get into that direction or from that direction into the base.
Okay, so that's how you're going to defend against air. If you had to kind of narrow down, because we could probably talk for like half an hour just about Town Hall 11 base design, but if you had to kind of come up with a top list of maybe, you know, two or three things that are important right now in Town Hall 11 bases, maybe like a checklist. Okay, is my storages here, or is my X, Y, or Z centralized? What would they be right now at Town Hall 11?
I think spread the value that you want to protect out in different direction of your base. For example, the air defense on one side, the wizard towers on the other, the clan castle on the one side, the heroes on the other side, and try to make the inferno towers itself as hard as possible to reach for loons, and try to set up a really nice counter loon pathing, I would call it. So they would path around the inferno towers, and just they can melt through your loons all the time. So that's really important at the moment.
Do you prefer having hidden Teslas on the outside or the inside of base, or does it just depend on the base?
It always depends on the base, especially you don't have like a number one rule over there, so you can't really predict the Teslas. And yeah, it's always changing.
And where should people be putting their high hit point storage units nowadays? Obviously, we're using the Town Hall just as an HP buffer to protect the heroes here in this case. Is there any rhyme or reason to where you're putting your Dark Elixir storage, your storages, depending on, what are you trying to protect the most?
With storages, you can really nicely protect your heroes, for example, like the Town Hall is doing on the one side over there at the heroes. Or you can just try to let the queen stay at the certain point where she is getting a lot of point defenses on her. And yeah, that's making it really hard, for example, to queen charge or queen walk a base.
Okay. And is there any other common mistakes that you see a lot of bases using right now at Town Hall 11? Something that you look at and you're like, okay, no, that's a mistake.
I think a lot of bases have the inferno towers kind of close to each other. So if you will go with a kind of big kill squad, which means all of your heroes and few of your bowlers into the base, and can reach that core where all of the inferno towers are set up, and most likely the eagle as well, you get, as a Town Hall 11, way too much value out of it, and this is a huge mistake if you want to defend.
Okay. I think we got a good sense of what makes a good defensive base now at Town Hall 11. Separated your key defenses, your Inferno Towers, your Eagle Artillery, your heroes, and your Clan Castle, and also try to make La Lune attacks or air attacks as difficult as possible. This goes without saying, but right now, are you advocating people put their Expos on air and their Infernos on multi, and their air bombs or their bombs to skeleton bombs rather to air?
Most or all of your Inferno should be always on multi. The Expos should be most of the time on air. Ground is kind of rare. Maybe if you want to defend at a certain point of the base against ground, but that's kind of rare. And yeah, the skeleton traps should be most of the time on air as well. But sometimes you can protect certain areas of your base with a ground trap. For example, if you want to try to snipe with your Archer Queen Inferno Tower or whatsoever, you can just place your ground skeleton trap over there and screw the attack completely.
Okay, so just using them in a tactful, strategic way here and there, depending on the base.
Yes.
Cool. All right, want to go ahead and watch this replay?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to pause it at the very beginning here. And first of all, look at this freaking army. This is incredible. You have 50 minions. I wanted to say it earlier because I could just show this replay and it would be the whole video because this is such a cool attack. But tell us about this base And okay, because this wasn't a super competitive war, I'm imagining you normally wouldn't have tried a 50 minion attack. So talk a little bit about why you tried this attack, A, and B, what would your normal thought process being when dissecting a base like this?
So yeah, like you said, it was a fun war for our win number 300. So I just decided to do a kind of fun attack, which isn't that common. So for example, Queen Charge, Mass Archer attack, or whatsoever. And I ended up with the Queen Charge Mass Minion attack, which, well, isn't that common. And yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool to smash the space with the tactic, and it worked in the end.
Okay, so give us just, in 10 seconds or so, tell us your game plan, and then we'll watch how you did it. So what was your general philosophy with this deck? You're going to come in with a Queen Walk from where, and then what after that?
With this mass minion attack, you always want to try to get rid of all the splash damage, which means, in this case, the Inferno Towers, the Eagle, and the Wizard Towers. So I came in from around about 7 o'clock and entered the base at 6 o'clock, and yeah, just more or less walked through all of the defenses just right through the core.
All right, well, I know these guys want to see this attack. I want to see this attack again. Let's go ahead and press play in 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so maybe if you can just talk us through the attack and specifically mention anything that might have gone wrong or even differently, even if a minor thing than you had intended when you were planning the attack.
Yeah, one of the difficult part of always doing queen charges or whatsoever is that you have to get your queen into the correct direction, so she doesn't walk into the wrong direction and you are just like, okay, this attack is over.
Yeah.
So getting her into the correct direction, which was at or to the gold mine, gold storage at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Was kind of hard to get her in the right direction. So that was one of the big parts.
Now, how do you have any tips or tricks to get your queen to go in the right direction?
Just a lot of friendly challenges, I guess. It's
okay, getting a feel for
sometimes really hard to predict her way, since I don't know. Yeah. It's sometimes just queen things.
When you're planning the queen direction, the queen walk portion of the attack, are you looking at, okay, she's going to kill this unit, then she's going to kill this unit, then she's going to kill this unit, or are you trying to look at the bigger picture? Are you really like doing, trying to path her or map her pathing before you go in?
Yeah, try to plan the pathing as best as possible. Try to rethink the targets she would try to reach and what is the order, and yeah.
Okay. Well, so far so good. It looks like it's going according to plan. You just about killed the clan castle here. You used your next rage spell, and you're starting to deploy one balloon. So why did you deploy that balloon?
I tried to trigger as many air traps as possible, since the healers have to go through the core. So I just brought that one balloon, tried to ratchet up, and in the end, soaking up one black mine, 2 red mines, and the 1 skeleton trap.
Wow, that was a very valuable balloon. So your queen is getting so much value, and here come your minions. So with this attack, wow, this is so cool. Oh my god. All right, so tell me about the minion phase a little bit here. I mean, you're just spamming them, obviously, but is there anything to it other than just spamming and dropping spells there?
I tried to keep the minions in the base, which I was able to do with the king. Since the king walked on the outside, I pressed the ability kind of early, so he would clear the trash out of the way, and all of the minions would stay inside of the base, get all of the defense kind of fast, because the expo is really good. Oh, well, counter I wouldn't call it, because mass minion isn't really a thing. If you want to do the attack normally, but expo isn't that nice to have against a mass minion attack, so I had to funnel the minions kind of nicely, and like you can see in the end, it was 50 normal minions in my own army comp, and in the CC 70 minions as well.
Yep, 67 minion 3-star. That is awesome, man. Well done there. Now, if you're hitting that base with a normal, like La Lune type army, would you do the same thing if you were going to use a Queen Walk, or would it be totally different?
It depends. If you on this specific base, I think I would have tried a similar attack, which with a queen charge. I wouldn't try to queen charge both of the Inferno Towers, which is kind of unlikely to get. I would just try to do the same opener and queen charge into the same direction. But after getting the Eagle down, I would try to get through the Inferno compartment to the air defenses, so I could start the air portion from around about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So the air sweepers won't be in my way, and the pathing would be really nice since the core would be more or less empty, since the Eagle is gone, and everything would look really smooth, I think.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on to the Town Hall 10 attack.
Yep.
We're going to look at base number 17, and again, want to go ahead and just scout the base first. And this attack was done by Julius. So here we have another pretty common type base design here at Town Hall 10. Again, using you see the Town Hall on the outside of the base, just used purely as a protection HP buffer. You see the air defenses all clustered up. You see the air sweepers facing towards the air defenses, and you see the separated key kill squad targets, the Inferno Towers, the Clan Castle, and the Heroes. Any thoughts about this base and about Town Hall bases in general? Specifically, I guess a better question would be, how does a good Town Hall 10 base differ from a good Town Hall 11 base, or are they basically the same principles?
At Town Hall 10, it's more important to have the queen kind of centralized, since you have more or less only 3 objectives to defend, or 4, I would call it. 2 Inferno Towers, 1 queen, and the pack of air defenses, which is kind of different in the Town Hall 11 game, where you have like the Eagle as well, and it's a kind of big building, which means it's really hard to protect, and it's kind of off your core of the base. So that's the biggest difference between Town Hall 11, Town Hall 10 base building.
Okay. And at Town Hall 10 and 11, obviously, especially at Town Hall 10, one of the most popular attacks is the Bowler Witch composition, right? So how do you defend against a Bowler Witch attack? It's very difficult, especially on dip attacks. Is there anything that you can, any tricks or any configurations that you can kind of tweak to the base to make it hold up better against one of those really strong ground armies?
I think the biggest part about defending Bowler Witch is trying to get your wizard towers towards the outside of the base and not close to your Inferno Towers, since most of the time the Bowler Witch attacks are from Inferno Tower to Inferno Tower, just through the base. And if on the sides I would call it the second kill squad or the flanking troops will die to the wizard towers, your attack will never work. So try to not defend the core pack, more try to defend the outside troops and get rid of them.
Okay, and what about spacing on a base? Obviously, most of these Bowler Witch attacks are probably carrying 3 jump spells anyway, so it's very difficult to design a base that doesn't allow the attacker to just jump right through it no matter where they enter from. Is there anything that you can do as a defender to combat that, or is it pretty much, just do your best?
I think sometimes it's kind of good to get really difficult jump locations, which means open too much or too less of the base for the jump spell value. So that's a big factor as well, especially at 10 versus 10, where you have most of the time only 2 jump spells.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this replay as well. So I'm going to go ahead and press replay, and I will press play in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going here. Tell us a little bit about the army composition that Julius chose for this base and why it's a good selection for this design.
This design is kind of weak against Hogs in general because it has nearly no possible locations for string traps, because on the side from 9 to 6 o'clock, all of the defenses are just right next to each other, which means there can't be spring traps. So the Hogs have a really great time and just go through the defenses over there, 1 or 2 heal spells, and they just smash the side of the base.
So when you see a base like this as a Town Hall 10 attacker or as a Town Hall 11 trying to dip to a Town Hall 10, and you want to try to execute an attack like this with Hog Riders, are you looking for that Hog path? And if you are, is it basically only based on what you just said? Try to choose a densely packed area where there's less traps?
In my opinion, the traps or the spring traps is the biggest reason why Hogs aren't that good at Town Hall 10, because if you place your spring traps really good in the base, there are way too many Hogs flying around in the air and doing nothing. So if you have an area of the base where no spring traps could be placed, it's really great as an attacker.
And what do you think about the new levels to heal, freeze, and clone? Do you think it's going to dramatically increase the usage in any or all of those 3 spells?
I think the heal spell level is really good because it could bring back the Hog Riders and the Miners. Because if you, for example, swarm the base with Hog Riders, it doesn't matter most of the time if you lose few of them to spring traps, for example. And if you can trigger a few of them already in the beginning of the attack, it's even better. So I think it could be a comeback for troops like this. And
okay, cool. And what about the clone? Do you guys ever use clone Dark Looters?
No, not really. I think clone spell is, I don't know, most of the times just getting used for areas that you can't really reach with the pathing of loons. So you could get through a gap and spawn your loons into the next defense which you want to enter. So if you have nice loon pathing, 2 rages, or I don't know, 2 haste spells and a heal spell or whatsoever, is, in my opinion, most of the times a better choice to go than the clone spell.
Okay. It will be interesting to see if the new clone spell makes it worth it or not. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So this is a really good attack. Really made it look easy, Julius did, but you can see what he did there with the Hogs and the Valkyries. It's really a 3-phase attack. That was a really long queen walk. Do you have any tips for how to plan out a really long queen walk like that? It seems like almost impossible to plan at times.
If you have a direction at the beginning where your queen is heading, it's most of the time the biggest phase of a queen walk. The next part is the warbreak location, so whether you have to tank for the warbreaker, whether you have to bring some test warbreaker or anything like that, that's the big 2 issues for queen walks or queen charges at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11.
Okay, so just really putting a lot of time and energy into planning your wallbreaker locations and making sure she goes in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the Town Hall 9 here. It's going to be base number 34. And this base, again, you're seeing, I guess a pretty typical looking Town Hall 9. Talk about Town Hall 9 defenses first. Talk about maybe where the meta is defensively at Town Hall 9 and what are you looking to do? Obviously, we see this base, the air defenses are much more spread out, not clumped together. And we see that the objectives, again, are relatively separated in terms of the clan castle, the queen, and so on. The mortars are on the outside of the base. Anything that you want to kind of pick out that you want to start with and talking about the base design here at 9?
I think it's getting kind of popular that you have these separated defenses like the Inferno Tower compartments at Town Hall 10 and 11, the Expo and the air defense, which is kind of often really hard to plan to reach these buildings with, I don't know, loons or hogs. And as well, it's really hard to plan on the first attack if there's a Tesla or a lot of Teslas over there, or Tesla farm, or whether they are on the outside. It's really hard on the first attack, and that's all about at the moment at Town Hall 9. Just try to defend the first attack and make the attack as hard as possible to predict.
Okay, so do you guys at Dark Looters, and you specifically, are you a big fan of trying to throw in those kind of curveball Tesla farms, maybe even sometimes on the perimeter, outside the perimeter of the base?
I think we kind of rarely use Tesla farm, farms. Most of the times we try to mess up a funnel part or just try to move around on the outside or make it hard to reach specific buildings in the base. So that's, I think, most of the times what our base building guys are doing.
Okay, and because I noticed that One Hive, conversely, actually, at least last season, they really loved outside Tesla farms. So I think it's interesting that you guys aren't such a big fan of them. What about like putting a farm Tesla or a farm builder hut in the very corner? You guys, obviously, you have builder huts in the corner. Is that something that you guys normally do as well?
I think you could do
troll.
it. Sometimes we have, I know, a lot of guys with troll Teslas on the outside, sure, but sometimes it's really good to predict if you're known for that. For example, in the finals, we predicted, or our guys predicted, a lot of Tesla farms on the outside and just brought for that the extra heal spell or just another spell for that possibility.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's a big point in that you shouldn't be predictable in your base building setup.
And can you talk about one last thing is I noticed that mortars on this base, for example, are all on the outside the perimeter of the base, and it's the only defenses that are on the perimeter of the base. And the same thing you're seeing more and more at Town Hall 10, Town Hall 11. Now, are the reason the mortars are there, do they play a role beyond just being mortars? Are they actually used to distract the kill squad, to kind of put in a place where the attacker wouldn't want their golems to be going or something like that as well? Or what is the utility of the mortar specifically?
Yeah, one of the points is that you want to get the golems away from the point where they should go. For example, on this base, the Barbarian King is covering two of the mortars. If a golem is just running on one of the two, he will receive a lot of damage from the Barbarian King. So that's really hard to plan about. So you have to get rid of the mortars or go from another direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part is that if you have mortars on the outside, you can't directly target air defenses or wizard towers. For example, on 9 o'clock, you can't really target the air defense directly. You have to go on the mortar and then on the air defense. So it's always like 1 or 2 seconds more damage on the Hound or on the Loons if you want to try to snipe the air defense. And yeah, that's always a big issue.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and watch this attack here. I'm going to press the replay button and I'll pause, wait for you to catch up to me, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, play. And this one is by Amsterdam V, and he's using a Queen Walk into a Go-Va-Ho. Talk a little bit about why this strategy is a good choice for this base.
Since, like I said, it was a fun war, we decided to make it a little bit difficult for the Town Hall 9 guys, and we were not allowed to bring any new dark troops or dark spells, which means that you can see there isn't a poison or there isn't any bonus or whatsoever in the CC. So a lot of guys had to bring Valkyries with the kill squad because witches are so annoying if you don't have a poison spell. And there were so many plans like Queen Walks or whatsoever, which would really would have really great success rate. But in the end, there were like 2 witches in the CC, and the Queen was like 2 minutes, 1 versus 2 of the witches, and there was like no chance in getting the witches down. So that's the reason why there are a few of the Valkyries to get the witches out of the way. And combined with the small Queen Walk, it's really strong to get through the base, and all of the Hogs are just getting sprinkled in from the outside to support your main kill squad while the kill squad is tanking. So yeah, nearly no damage on the Hogs, perfectly executed. The double giant bomb doesn't matter over there, and yeah, some loons for the backside as well.
Nice. When you're planning a Town Hall 9 hog attack, what is the difference between planning a more surgical hog attack where you're just trickling in like 2 to 4 hogs at a time per defense, and when do you just do a more spammy attack?
I think once again, if you want to try avoid specific parts of the base, for example, spring trap locations or giant bomb locations, you always try to do more the surgical style. And if there aren't that many locations that you could possibly dodge with your surgical location, you just spam them in and place the heal spells and pray a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And now, what about as far as one question I get a lot, both on La Lune and Hog attacks, is do you have any certain rule of thumb as to, especially La Lune, how many balloons per defense, or does it, again, just totally depend on what's around and what the objectives are?
Normally, you say 2 loons per defense, at least at the most typical points in the game. But sometimes it's just kind of nice to have more loons. For example, if this loons would path in the core of the base and more or less few of them would get shot. So it's kind of nice to have more than 2 loons over there to get rid of for example, the expos or other defenses. So yeah, it always depends, but most of the time 2 per defense.
Okay. Man, I think that I've learned so much just from a half an hour with you, Itzu. I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on. For folks out there who don't know, and you should, if you're interested at all in competitive war scene, Dark Looters have a YouTube page. Itzu, you're a huge part of that, the host for much of the episodes. So you guys should check that out. I'll have that information in the description for you guys. Any big plans for the channel or anything, Itzu, that we should know about?
Yeah, there are coming out a lot of German videos at the moment, but there will be English subtitles. So if you want to check out some strategic stuff, come check it out. And yeah, there should be subtitles soon.
Awesome, man. Well, are you excited for the update?
Yeah, I am for sure. It will be insane. And
nice.
Yeah, can't wait to play it.
Any day. Hopefully, by the time you guys are watching this, it might even be out, but we'll see. But Itzu, any final words, any shout outs, anything like that?
Yeah, shout out to my Dark Looter guys, which more or less create the content, which I just present on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure and really great to be part of the video.
No problem, man. It was a pleasure having you on. It was awesome meeting you and great to finally get you on the channel. Guys, let me know what you think of this series. If you want to see Itzu back on the channel, which I imagine many of you do, if you care at all about learning Clash of Clans strategy and tip, just want to give a huge shout out to Dark Looters, the whole German community. Itzu, I have quite a bit of German viewers. I think like 5% of my channel, so not too bad, right?
That's a lot, I think, for a German, for English channel.
Yeah. So guys, just want to give a huge shout out to my German viewers. Why not? And again, Itzu, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your feedback on this series. Do you want to see more pro tips in Clash of Clans? It would mean a lot for me to get your feedback in the comments. I respond to every comment left in the first hour of my videos. Huge shout out to my YouTube partner Bren Chong. You can see his information in the description below. You can check out Dark Looters and Itzu's information also in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.